Hello, Internet. So, have you ever wondered if you can have too much freedom? Well, if you follow me, and if you don't, you probably should look into that. But if you follow me, you probably know that freedom is like one of my top values, if not my number one value. But yeah, I was recently having a discussion with a friend, and uh, somehow, I don't know how, it turned around to absolute and total freedom, and I was just reminded of the game Transistor, which I've done a Let's Play on. There might even be a link up in the wherever to that little playlist. And oh, by the way, welcome to the Empirical Sword. I'm Lowmaster DLC 79. I'm an INTJ. I'm a gamer, and I talk about things that most people don't care about. But yeah, Supergiant Games, Transistor, and the downside of potentially too much freedom. And the thing that I'm thinking of is like very subtle in the game. It's like you can actually play the entire game without even knowing this, because it's like in the little OVC newsy bloggy kind of terminals scattered throughout the game. It's essentially the lore of the setting, which you could completely bypass if you just want to blitz through the game. I didn't, but frequently you'll come across OVC terminals where people vote on things like, what color should the sky be tonight? What should the weather be like? Things like that. Just everybody getting a say on what the world should look like, and whichever vote wins, these little hidden machines, which kind of went haywire. But under normal conditions, these little machines just make it happen. And if people decide that they don't like the result, oh, just vote again. I think our world is kind of moving toward that. And really, I think that's kind of Supergiant's motive for putting that into the game, because they're kind of like that. They do deep things like that. Just like very subtly touching on kind of these important philosophical questions that we should be thinking about, but aren't, because that's the world we live in. But yeah, I think we're kind of moving to a point where we quibble over the stupidest things, and we elevate them to the status of importance when it's not. I mean, like the age-old debate of whether to put tomatoes inside chili beans or chili, or I don't know. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, if you like tomatoes, put tomatoes in it. If you don't, then don't. It's a no-brainer. Don't argue over it. It's stupid. It's like, who cares what color the sky is? I mean, now, okay, granted, in a world where you can control the color of the sky, maybe you care about the color of the sky, but who cares? And it's, this is the point where I've already made the point. I'm just complaining about how the world is. And, I need to stop that. You stop complaining. Nobody likes complaining. And really, that right there, the complaining. I think it's the complaining, or the tendency to complain, that is going to lead to this situation of people just controlling everything through like everybody gets a say. Everybody's opinion gets heard. I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes your opinions don't matter. Again, back to tomatoes or no tomatoes, who cares? You do you and let everybody else do them. If you don't like the color of the sky, who cares? It's the color of the sky. Live with it. And again, I realize that in the game Transistor, the world at large has the ability to change the color of the sky. It's you know, it's one of these philosophical questions where it's like, I mean, should we even have that power? You know, getting back to the heart of the matter, how much freedom is too much freedom? Should we have the freedom to change the color of the sky, to change the weather to suit our whims? I think as long as we're driven by whims, no, we should not have that level of power or that level of freedom. I mean, you know, it's like the old Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. And the thing is, you need to be responsible before you get the power. I mean, you just look at, you know, the origin story of Spider-Man. He got the power before the responsibility, and his Uncle Ben was murdered because of it, which like somehow drove him to become more responsible. Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, guilt is a very powerful motivator. I get that. It just seems a little too light switchy. That too many L's in that saying that I was trying to say. Sometimes the tongue doesn't want to work. Take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. And here we are at the point where I'm just rambling and babbling and hopefully making sense, probably not. And that usually indicates it's time to end the video. But yeah, too much freedom. As much as I love the idea of you know, being the captain of my own ship, some people don't deserve that. And most people don't have the discipline to utilize that properly. We really need to work on people's discipline before we get to the point where everybody's the captain of their own ship. And really, I think that's kind of the whole point of this video, and to just point out that a video game actually does contain information on a philosophical issue that we should be paying attention to, but aren't because we're too busy binge-watching Game of Thrones and Walking Dead and whatever else. You know, a few weeks ago, I spent 5 hours listening to an audiobook, while other people were spending 5 hours binge-watching Game of Thrones. Oh, by the way, the audiobook was The One Thing, which is a book on how to focus your mind on getting things done better. Who do you think came out better? 5 hours of listening to an audiobook on a book to focus better on getting things done, or 5 hours of binge-watching Game of Thrones? And admittedly, the people who binge-watch the Game of Thrones probably think they come out better, but it's, you know, you do you. And anyway, if you're the type of people who want to binge watch this type of content, which actually enriches the brain, consider subscribing. And oh, by the way, thank you for watching. I need to remember to keep saying that. Be grateful. Have a video on being grateful. I should practice what I preach. But anyways, thank you for watching. You don't have to spend your time watching these videos, but you do. And I thank you for that. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and hit that bell icon, because the bell icon turns on the notifications, which is how you get notified. And yeah, whatever you're watching next, I will see you then.